Good afternoon, Judge. How you doing?
Doing well, thank you, thank you. You all let me know where you want me to start.
In courtroom number 1, Judge, with position number 1, please. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon. This is Ms. Chappelle, is that right?
Yes.
All right, who's representing Ms. Chappelle this afternoon?
Your Honor, Owen Lynch here on behalf of Ms. Chappelle on a conflict basis.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Lynch. Good to see you. Ms. Chappelle, I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. You've been charged in case 22 CR 006518A with battery against a female who is pregnant. Is there a history?
No, it wasn't a female. It was a male.
Your Honor, I was going to address that. The charge on the calendar says a female who is pregnant, but the actual accusation that was filed, it's a person who's 65 years or older.
They did it wrong.
Okay, thank you.
Threw me off too.
And let's see, who do we have on from pretrial?
Nakia Roberts.
Oh, good afternoon, Ms. Roberts. I'm sorry I didn't see you there. Is there a history?
Good afternoon. No criminal history. First arrest. Recommended.
All right, very good. Ms. Salette?
The state's recommendation is a $4,000 surety bond due to the nature of the charges, the victim being older than 65 years of age. He did have visible injuries, also stay away from the incident location and no contact with the victim and no alcohol or drugs. The victim's name is Freddie Jenkins, and the incident location is 1881 Myrtle Drive, Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes, I do.
Who is Mr. Jenkins to Ms. Chappelle?
6 months. I've been bipolar for about friend.
Can you hear me?
Friend.
Oh, okay. All right, Mr. Lynch?
Your Honor, first of all, I believe the incident location is Ms. Chappelle's residence, and he was just there visiting. That's my understanding. So for that reason, we're going to ask that you do not issue a stay away from the incident location. Of course, Ms. Chappelle denies the allegations as they're presented today. She's 51 years old. She does not have a criminal history or no violent offenses at the very least. She does complain of having some, she has a fractured ankle, I believe, and I believe she's not necessarily able to get the correct treatment while she's in jail. We're asking, Your Honor, to set a signature bond in this case due to her lack of a criminal history. And we understand the nature of the offense, but alleged, but of course, today, those are just allegations. That's what we're going to ask for today, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, he's correct about that address. The defendant does not live at that location.
I mean,
Okay.
the alleged victim. My representation was that the defendant lives at the location and not the alleged victim. If I'm mistaken about that, I do apologize.
So the Myrtle Drive address is Ms. Chappelle's address?
If we could just confirm that with Ms. Chappelle, I should have had that, but Ms. Chappelle, that's your address, correct?
That's Mr. Jenkins' address.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Then
Okay.
5 points.
So, okay. So there will be a stay away from the Myrtle Drive address, given that it's Mr. Jenkins's address. It's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Mr. Jenkins, stay away from the Myrtle Drive address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Chappelle.
Thank you.
Who do we have
Position
next?
number 15 is next.
Okay. Good afternoon.
Good morning.
Good afternoon, Ms. Mitchell. I'm
Good
Judge.
afternoon, Your Honor.
Afternoon, ma'am. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Mitchell, you've been charged in case 22 CR 006516Y with battery. Is there a history?
Yes, I'm showing 12 cycles out of Florida. Last arrest, 2008 for no license. A conviction from 2008 for child neglect out of Florida. A 2008 conviction for driving without a license. A grand theft conviction from 2007. And nothing further to add. She's also recommended for pretrial.
Mr. Lett?
Honor, I'm also showing additional arrest, 2001 aggravated battery against a pregnant female, 2003 deadly weapon without the intent to kill, both out of Florida. The state's recommendation is a $5,000 surety bond, no contact with the victim, Anita Albert, and stay away from the incident location, which is 7745 Trowbridge Road, Sandy Springs, Georgia. That is an apartment complex. The victim in this case is an employee at that apartment complex. And she has already stated to our office that the defendant's husband or partner has been speaking to her and called her a derogatory name since this arrest.
Good afternoon, Ms. Kim. Is this your case?
Is this Michelle Stacy, right, Your Honor?
15, yes.
Yes. Michelle Stacy is 38 years old, Your Honor, and she has been here in Georgia ever since from January 2020, and she is gainfully employed at Emory Hospital. She works as a patient care coordinator, and she has 2 children as a single mother, Your Honor, 8 years old and 12 years old. And there's a huge misunderstanding about what happened. It was actually her children who was getting bullied by this, so to speak, old lady who was harassing her children. And the mother, with the mother's instinct, wanted to protect her children. And she did not have any violence at all. She was just basically asking the old lady to delete the photos that she took without the consent. Those are a violation of a privacy of any children or any children's parents who are concerned about it. We don't want our children's photos everywhere without knowing about it. And Your Honor, this report is false. And also I was very disturbed by the language that this old lady was using against my clients. It's just very racially offensive. I mean, when I was hearing about the story, it's almost like a hate crime that
I'm going to object to this, Your Honor. This isn't anywhere in the warrant or the report, so I'm really not sure where she's getting this information.
Because that
Okay, hold on. Yeah, I let everyone speak in this court, so the objections overruled. Go ahead, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, this is written by only one side of the story who totally dropped very important pieces of information in that warrant. So we would like to request for signature on bond as she is recommended. Thank you.
Ms. Salat, anything further?
Yes, Your Honor. The facts of this case are that the defendant's children were trying to throw away a mattress in an apartment complex. The victim works in that apartment complex and was informing the juveniles that those mattresses are not to be thrown away in the dumpster in the apartment complex is against the apartment complex's policy. The defendant pulled up while the victim was telling her children that. The defendant got upset and shoved the victim down to the ground, causing visible injuries. And she also threw away the victim's cell phone into the woods. So like we stated before, Your Honor, the state would ask that she stay away from that apartment complex because the victim does work there. And that could that causes a significant risk of the defendant intimidating the witnesses in this matter.
Well, does Ms. Mitchell live there?
Yes, Your Honor, my client.
Okay, Ms.
resides
Kim.
there.
I'm not gonna, she has children. I'm not gonna keep her away from her own home.
Thank you.
Where she's, paying rent. So it's gonna be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Miss Albert, which means that, Ms. Mitchell, if you see Miss Albert coming, you go the other way. I'm not gonna keep you away from where you live, but you can't have any contact with Miss Albert whatsoever. No contact means no contact whatsoever. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Okay, so I'm letting you sign your own bond, Ms. Mitchell. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Position 21, Judge.
All right, good afternoon, Ms. Smith. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. You've been charged in case 22 CR 006491D with battery. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
She does not have a criminal history recommended.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. King.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This offense occurred on September 25th at around 11 p.m. Officers were dispatched to 4765 Stonewall Tell Road in reference to a dispute. Upon arrival, they met with Jaleesa Evans, who is the victim in this case. Ms. Evans advised the officers that she was ending her daughter's birthday party and was telling everybody it was time to go. And while she was cleaning up, she overheard her sister and the defendant arguing. The victim states that when she got up, the victim states that the defendant at that time threw the phone out of the window. And when the victim asked her why she threw the phone out of the window, she began to get irate. And at that point started to punch her in her head and in her forehead. The officers observed a knot on the victim in this case, and he was able to take a photo and body worn camera of that injury. We have been in contact with this victim, and she states that is a friend of a friend, and she barely knows the defendant. And she states she wants absolutely no contact with the defendant and to stay away from her home, which is the incident location. The victim advised that she would probably not be on Zoom today, but I would still like Your Honor to sound for her at the conclusion of my presentation. The state is requesting a $3,000 surety. No further contact with Jaleesa Evans, Jalisa, last name traditional spelling, a stay away from the incident location, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. And the state is also requesting a 1-day anger awareness class.
Is Jaleesa Evans on the line? Okay, if not, it's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, 1-day anger awareness. No further contact with Ms. Evans. Stay away from the Stonewall Town Road address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Does that suit you, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you, Ms. Smith.
Thank you, Judge. Position number 22. I'm gonna transfer you to courtroom 1. Hold on for me.
Are we ready to proceed?
Yes, Judge, with position number 22, please.
Okay, thank you. Yes, ma'am. Can you pronounce your last name for me? Yeah. Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
I would prefer direct.
Is that a yes?
No, I would like to come to the courthouse.
Oh,
Okay, Ms. Kim, this is your client.
Yes.
We don't routinely have them come to the courthouse if she doesn't want her case heard by video today. Do you need to talk to her to see if she wants it heard tomorrow?
In person? Or can I just call her right now? And then maybe,
Okay,
sure.
We'll do it. Judge, I
Yes.
just want to talk 1 minute. I got arrested so that I could It has been 2 years since I wanted to come here and talk to a judge.
Okay, ma'am, I'm sorry, I'm not understanding you, so I'm happy to hear what you have to say, but I can't understand you.
It's 2 years since I wanted to come down to here to this courthouse to talk to a judge.
Okay, well, you were only arrested on this charge yesterday, so you might have another charge that you want to come talk to me about, but today we're only talking about a criminal trespass and damage to property. So that's what's before me today, and apparently this allegedly happened yesterday. So if you want me to hear your case today and to give you a bond today, then I'm happy to do that. But you have to agree that we can do this over the video.
I'm okay to have a video trial, but I want you to listen to the entire.
Well, of course, ma'am. I'm gonna listen to everything that your counsel and the state has to offer in regards to this case. Okay.
I just need 2 minutes to explain the difference between US law and Indian law, wherein I can walk down to an Indian police station and file a complaint against anybody and say something.
Okay, yes, ma'am, you have a right to remain silent. Is there gonna be an issue, Ms. Kim? Is there an issue you need to know about?
Would you like to, I will call you and explain everything a little bit later. Would you please remain silent so you don't hurt your case?
Well, if she has something that she wants to say to you, Ms. Kim, I prefer that she goes ahead and
I can
says
call
it.
her.
Yeah, before
Sure.
we move forward. So can we do
Sure.
that and move on to the next person while you're speaking?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Judge, can we go to position number 7, please?
Yes,
Ma'am.
thank you.
Have a
And
seat.
Ms. Kim, you let me know if there's an issue on
Sure.
this matter.
Thank you.
Did she say something?
Yeah, position number 7.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Douglas. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar. We're holding this calendar by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Douglas, you've been charged in case 22 CR 006497Y with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
Yes, I'm showing 3 out of Georgia, 1 out of Florida, and 1 out of Washington State. The last arrest was from 2018 out of Georgia for willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. I'm only showing 1 conviction out of Georgia from 2017 for disorderly conduct. And I do see a conviction from 2011 out of Washington State for damage to property and nothing further. And she's recommended.
Ms. Salat?
No, it's mine, Your Honor.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. King.
Yes, Your Honor, as pretrial already stated, she has a cycle out of Washington, Florida, and 4 in Georgia. This offense occurred on September 24th. In that evening, the officers were responding to a missing child report when the mother of the missing child stated that she saw the defendant go inside of the officers' vehicles and remove something. At that point, the officers went and stopped the lady and detained her to question her. Based on her answers that she gave, it concerns the state that there might be an MHET needed. She stated that she poisoned 3 people, had 15 Department of Homeland Security agencies looking for her, and that President Obama personally told her that she needs to have her brains blown out, Your Honor. For that reason, the state is requesting a $2,000 surety, no further contact with the officer, in this case, Officer Skinner, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. She didn't seem to be coming to the incident location. I don't know if a stay away from that street will be appropriate, to Your Honor, and the MHET. She has convictions as recent as 2017, and we're just concerned for her mental health, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. King. Ms. Gann, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Ms. Patricia Douglas is 52 years old. She has spent in the Atlanta, Georgia area for about 6 months. She does have family here. She does not have any children. Your Honor, Ms. Douglas obtained a GED. She also has 1 year of community college as a computer repair person. She is disabled at this time, Your Honor, on SSI. I did have a behavioral BHET completed prior to this hearing. And at this time, Your Honor, I do not have any concerns regarding competency. I believe that this is more so just an effort on my client's part to get some help. And we have connected her with the appropriate resources so that she can get the help that she needs. I do not have any concerns regarding her competency. She understands the nature of the allegations. She's able to assist me in her defense, and she denies the allegations totally, Your Honor. Therefore, I am requesting a signature bond on Ms. Douglas's behalf. We are unopposed to any no contact orders. And again, as we stated, I had Ms. Amin Williams to complete the BHET prior report.
Do you have a place to live, Ms. Gant?
She does not. However, Ms. Amin Williams spoke to her about that, and she understands. When I say she, I'm talking about Ms. Douglas. She knows how to navigate, or she knows where to go to get the appropriate resources to connect for housing.
Okay, so if I let her out, how does she have a place that she can get her mail? I mean, I don't want to.
Your Honor, if I may, I left out one fact. She did, when the officers first approached her, she said that she wanted to go to jail, which I think answers Your Honor's question about where she would go. It seems like the jail is where she wanted to be because she has nowhere else to go, Your Honor.
Okay.
That is not, I do appreciate the ASG's interpretation. That is not quite our take on it. Again, Ms. Douglas, we do have the means to get her a mailing address if she doesn't have one, 1000 Presbyterian Church to receive mail. That certainly will be well in advance of any prior court hearings. And if I could, on record, just determine whether or not, Ms. Douglas, whether or not you have a mailing address.
Can you unmute courtroom 3, please? Ms. Douglas, do you have a mailing address?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so we'll get that mailing address, Ms. Gann. It's going to be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with Officer Skinner, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. You presented to the court that you've done a BHET, and also will hopefully help her in establishing some housing. Good luck. Anything further on Ms. Douglas?
Yes, Your Honor. The MHET requesting is due to the second prong, sanity, not necessarily competency. So the state is asking again for the MHET due to that reason.
Okay, thank you, Ms. King. That's going to be denied at this time. Good luck to you, Ms. Douglas.
And I will get that address to you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gant. All right, can we go back to, are we ready, Ms. Kim? Did we figure that out?
Yes, yes, Your Honor, we are good to go. We apologize.
No worries. This is position 22, it's my understanding. My last question was, did she agree to have this case of criminal trespass and damage to property, 22 CR 006494A, heard over video? Is that a yes, ma'am?
I believe she was agreeing to that, but I just wanted to confirm. We talked about it over the phone, Ms. Yamini.
Okay, do you hear my question, Ms. Yamini?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Ms. Roberts.
First arrest recommended.
Okay, Ms. King.
Yes, Your Honor. This offense occurred on September 25th. Officers were dispatched to a domestic dispute. The caller, who is on the line right now, stated that his ex-wife was outside and refused to leave. The officers made contact with the defendant and asked her to leave, and she refused. At that point, she was detained. We have been in contact with this victim, and he states they are no longer married and they do not live together. He had a TPO against her. He got it when she criminally trespassed in November 2021, and it expired in July. So she's not violating this order, but he is going to be filing another TPO. He has also stated that if she gets out, she will return to his home just like she always has, despite the court's orders and despite law enforcement telling her not to return, and the victim in this case telling her not to return. For that reason, we're asking for a 3,000 surety, no further contact with KARTHIKEYAN, last name KANDASAMI, a stay away from 5102 Woodland Lane, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. And if Your Honor would be so kind as to let the victim in this case speak.
Yes, I see Mr. Kandasamy there. I will allow him to speak after Ms. Kim. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Miss Yamini is actually 40 years old and she came to US about 2 years ago. And she does have a job here and she's staying with her friend at her friend's place. So she's been here for about 1.5 years and she wants to stay here in Georgia. She does have a specific goals that she wants to achieve. So we would like to request for her to get signature on bond as she is recommended. And I do not have any other concern about that. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Kandasamy. This is your opportunity to address the court if that's what you would like to do. If so, I'll need for you to raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, what would you like to tell the court, sir?
Yeah, I think they have covered it. I just want to let you know that she has been harassing me for, ever since she came to US. And it's been going on for quite some time. In the last 1.5 years, I had to call police on 7 different occasions. And they gave her a trespass notice, which she violated twice. And then I got a TPO, which she violated again. And now she has started harassing me again. So I'm not sure if it is actually possible, but if I could get a permanent TPO, I would really appreciate it because there is no stopping her. I mean, they said that she is actually here in US because she has a job and all those things. The fact is she actually came to the US on a tourist visa. So she must
Objection, Your Honor. It has nothing to do with this case. It's very irrelevant. It has nothing to do with
Okay,
that.
hold on. All right,
Please,
so
Mama.
again, Ms. Kim, as I told this, you all know that I allow people to speak in this court. So your objection's overruled, and I'm going to hear what Mr. Kandasamy wants to tell me. So go ahead, sir.
Yeah, her visa is not my concern, but the thing is she has come in the tourist visa and she must have left in October, but she is staying here illegally and doing all this for the sole purpose of harassing me. That is my point. I mean, so many people come here, stay illegally. That's not my concern, but the problem is she's staying here illegally, working illegally by her own admission, just to harass me. And that's exactly what she has been doing. And even when the police officers came yesterday, that's what she told them also, that she keep coming again and then, keep harassing me again and again. So the TPO was the only thing that stopped her for the duration of 6 months. And now that the TPO has expired, she has again started it. So I would really need that, long-term TPO just to keep her away from me because nothing is going to stop her.
All right, Mr. Kandasamy, this is a bond here in the state court. You're going to have to go back to another court if you are seeking a permanent TPO. That's not something that this court has the ability to do. She is on. This is to give her a bond for criminal trespass and damage to property. Okay. Anything further, sir?
No, if you could ask her to stay away, it will be like
yes. I'm definitely going to make it a part of this bond that she has no further contact with you and stay away from the Woodland Lane address. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Anything further, Ms. Kim, Ms. King?
There was no damage that was made to any property, so I just wanted to mention that nothing was damaged.
The state is requesting that, especially after hearing the victim's statement here, that she is given a surety bond. We are concerned for the safety of the victim in this case. We're fearing that escalation can definitely occur. The words, court orders, nothing is stopping this young lady, and we're concerned that something violent and something very unsafe is going to happen to the victim in this case. Please grant this 3,000 surety.
Okay, thank you, Ms. King. I'm more concerned about the mental health, Ms. Kim. So it is going to be $1,000 good bond, no further contact with Mr. Kandasamy. Stay away from the Woodland Lane address. I want a social worker visit to her, for her. so that if she is still in custody on October 11th, which is at the SAP calendar, that someone can report to me at that time regarding her mental health, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Anything
Yeah,
further?
because the courthouse does not have jurisdiction over what happened.
Ms. Yamini, I
Okay.
strongly recommend you to stay silent.
All right, so, and when if she's still in and I see her at the SAP calendar, Ms. Kim, please pass that along
Yes.
with the social worker, because I will remember
Absolutely.
her. All right.
Thank you.
If nothing further, good luck to you all. Who do we have next?
Good afternoon, Judge. This is going to be position 4, Mr. Clemens, and we also have his mother who would like to speak. She's in the gallery.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Cohen. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Cohen. You've been charged in case 22 CR 006507C with willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
This position 4
Yes.
has 5 cycles. Last arrest was April of 2011 for a probation violation. He has a 2008 conviction for battery family violence, a 2004 conviction for possession of marijuana less than an ounce, and then a 1995 conviction for violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act. And nothing further. He appears to have a hold from the Sunday.
Your Honor, I'm sorry. What's the name of this defendant?
Position 4, Cohen.
Is it, I'm sorry.
Kenneth
I
Clemens.
was reading position 3. I thought I said Clemens.
Your Honor, I think this is Mr. Clemens, not Mr. Cohen. Can we check with the jail just to be sure?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Falk. Tell me again, courtroom 2, who do we have?
Position 4, Kenneth Clemens.
Okay, I'm sorry, on my calendar, Mr. Clemens is number 3. Position 3. So this is Mr. Clemens, position 3 in case 22 CR 006481A.
Yes, we had to do this counter, so they may have the numbers dropped because one counter, a person was on there twice, Judge. So they may have to say the name, so they're off by one number. So there's only 24 people on the counter, not 25.
Okay, thank you. So Ms. Roberts, may I have Mr. Clemens's history, please?
That's the history I read.
Oh, that was, okay, the 5 cycles.
Yes.
Okay, and Ms. King.
I didn't know that was my position. I thought it was Mr. Cohen. Did pretrial say 15 SC 132851, the open entering auto theft by taking?
Is that what he has a hold for? No, that was not said.
It was not, okay.
But there was some indication that there's a hold for something.
Oh, okay, got you. So that's what the hold is, Your Honor,
Okay.
felony case. This offense occurred on September 24th. The defendant struck the victim, who was his mother, in the head with a closed fist. Her name is Vanessa Hicks, VANESSA, last name traditional spelling. And the defendant obstructed the officer's investigation by fleeing on foot. Of course, we're concerned due to the defendant having a previous battery family violence conviction. I was not able to confirm who the victim in that case was, being as though it was from 2008. While it's far removed, I'm still concerned for that, being as though he is battering his mother now. The state is requesting a $4,000 surety. That's $1,500 on the obstruction, which is already there. We're asking that to remain, and $2,500 on a simple battery family violence. No further contact with his mother, and to stay away from the incident location, 330 Auburn Point Drive in Atlanta. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond, and a 1-day anger awareness class.
What's the name of the alleged victim?
It is Vanessa Hicks, VANESSA, last name HICKS.
Thank you. Mr. Lynch, is this your case?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm sorry, I was a little bit thrown off. I didn't realize it was Mr. Clemens at first. But I did speak to Mr. Clemens before the hearing today. From speaking to him, he's 40 years old. He does have a very limited income, although he does do some drywall for a company. He has lived in the Atlanta area his whole life. I wasn't able to get a whole lot of information from him about other bond factors, but Your Honor, we would request that you consider a signature bond, as he does not have the financial ability to post a bond in this case. And I'll be following up with Mr. Clemens.
Okay, thank you. So I believe that we have Ms. Hicks in the courtroom. Would she like to speak on behalf of Mr. Clemens?
Yes, I'm getting her now.
Okay.
You can stand right here.
Good afternoon.
Okay, good afternoon, Ms. Hicks. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
You can put your hand down, ma'am. Thank you. What would you like to tell us?
Well, he's a good son. And he just with his son. He didn't mean to hit. He's been standing 5 years. Just me and him. He take care of me. I got arthritis in my leg and I suffer arthritis in my back. So he helped me out a whole lot around the house.
Okay, he lives at the 330 Auburn point address with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you want him to come back?
Yes, sir.
Has this ever happened before?
Sir.
Okay, and are you afraid of him?
No, sir.
All right, anything further, ma'am?
No, that's it.
All right, thank you, ma'am, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Ms. King, Mr. Lynch, anything further?
We just asked, excuse me.
Oh, no, go ahead, Mr. Lynch.
I was just going to say that based on that testimony, we would ask that you not issue a stay away order from his mother. She does seem to be a source of support, and she did indicate that she does not fear for her safety. So we would ask that no stay away order from her be issued in this case.
And Your Honor, the state is only renewing its request. Your Honor is familiar with the cycles of violence. The victim in this case did call the cops, and when they arrived, she did tell them that he struck her in the head. She did not indicate at that time, that it was any kind of accident. She said it was purposeful at that time. For that reason, Your Honor, the state is requesting to stay away and no further contact due to the safety of the victim and witness intimidation.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to release him to the hold. So it's going to be for the simple battery of $1,500 signature bond through the jail, for the obstruction $500 signature bond through the jail, making it a total of a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. No further violent contact with his mother, Ms. Hicks, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Clemens.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Position 24, Stone.
All right, and I don't know who has what calendar. So on my calendar, Mr. Stone is position 23. Just for that note. Mr. Stone, good afternoon. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is a state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Stone, you've been charged in case 22 CR 006492B with battery family violence. Ms. Roberts, is there a history?
Yes, 7 cycles. Last arrest was March 2017 for driving without a valid license. That is an open case, 19 CR 001858B. Then he had a 2013 conviction for theft by receiving stolen property and criminal trespass out of DeKalb County. Nothing further.
Ms. King.
Yes, Your Honor, this offense occurred on September 24th. At around 1 a.m., officers were dispatched to 2909 Campbellton Road Southwest in Georgia for shots fired. When they arrived, they were advised that a black male had kicked in the door. They determined that male to be the defendant in this case. When they went in, they spoke with the victim in this case, Cisco Stone, CISCO, last name same as defendant, who is the brother of the defendant. And they immediately saw injuries on this victim. when speaking with the victim, he stated that they are brothers and they reside at the location together. And on this date, the defendant kicked in the door and proceeded to punch him in his eye, his lip, and around his ear. And the officers observed the injuries, and it did coincide with what the victim in this case was stating. The state is requesting a $4,000 surety, no further contact with Cisco Stone, a stay away from the incident location, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond, as well as the one-day anger awareness class.
Have you spoken or your office spoken with Cisco Stone, Ms. King?
We have not been in contact with him as of right now.
Thank you, Ms. Kim.
Same here. I was not able to contact Mr. Cisco either. I mean, Mortez Stone is actually 31 years old, and he was born and raised here in Georgia. And he has 4 minor children that he has to take care of, 2, 7, 8, and 10 years old. And he's a sole provider for the family. And he works at 2 jobs, one at airport. He pushes wheelchairs and he's trying to make money as much as he can, but he does not have enough money. He also has a GED and he didn't go to college. We would like to request for a signature on bond, even though there is an open case, because the open case was related to a driver's license traffic issue, and the other violence was kind of remote. So please give him a signature on bond. Thanks.
Where are those children at the present time, Ms. Kim?
He resides with those 4 children right now. They don't live with Mr. Little brother at this point. They live with, he is actually living with the kid's mother and 4 of them.
So does he have any need to go back to the Campbellton Road address, I guess is my question.
No, Your Honor.
All right. So it's going to be a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial. I'm not sure if he was recommended or not. If he was not recommended, as per the judge. One-day anger awareness, no further contact with Cisco Stone, stay away from the Campbellton Road address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Does Mr. Stone have a question?
Mr. Stone, you have a signature on bond. I'll give you a call if you have any questions.
I know I'm licensed to carry. I have no felony. I'm licensed to carry a weapon. I have my license to carry.
Okay, we can talk about the facts of the case later.
Okay, but you don't have any gun charges, Mr. Stone.
Oh,
okay. So your only charge is a battery family violence that's allegedly against your brother, Cisco Stone. So whether or
But
not
as a condition of bond, Your Honor, he's not to have any drugs, alcohol, or weapons. That's correct?
Oh, yeah, you're right about that. So even though you do have a license to carry, until you resolve this, you're not going to be able to have any access to any weapons, Mr. Stone.
yes, sir.
All right. Good luck to you, sir.
Judge, it's through pretrial, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Position 20, it might be 21, I guess, for you all, Mr. Smith, Andre Smith. Did you print out the revised?
Okay. Okay, so this is Andre Dion Smith. We have a couple of Smiths. This is case 22CR006488Y. Good afternoon, Mr. Smith. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You have been charged with simple battery, family violence, and criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
Yes, I'm showing 5 cycles. Last arrest was February 20th of this year for obtain or give inmate prohibited item without authorization, purchase, possession, manufacture, distribution, or sale of marijuana, unauthorized possession of a prohibited item by inmate, intentionally use unmanned aircraft system to obtain or give possess prohibited items. And that is out of Forsyth. That case appears to be open. He has a 2006 conviction for criminal trespass. And nothing further to add. And he appears to have a hold too out of Madison, Georgia. I think that's Forsyth for FTA.
Okay, thank you, Ms. King.
Yes, Your Honor, this offense occurred on September 22nd. The victim in this case, John Williams, was at the Oakland City MARTA station, and he states that the defendant came over, pushed him to the ground, and punched him multiple times all over his body. The victim's glasses were also broken during this altercation, Your Honor. And it was captured on MARTA CCTV. We have been in contact with the victim in this case, and he states that they are no longer in a relationship and no longer live together. The victim states that he was at the train station waiting on the train when the defendant came out of nowhere and attacked him unprovoked. They had broken up in June, and things were okay, so he doesn't know why he attacked him on this day. The victim wants no contact and a stay away from his home location. I will send that in the chat. He provided his address. For that reason, the state is requesting a $4,000 total, $3,000 for the simple battery, family violence, and $1,000 for the criminal trespass. No further contact with John Williams. A stay away from the incident location of the Oakland City MARTA station, as well as the victim's home address. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. The state feels this recommendation is more than appropriate due to the open cases, as well as the random violence of this. And with them having a history, the state is concerned with victim intimidation and also the victim being harmed by the defendant further.
Thank you, Mr. Lynch.
Your Honor, my client is 35 years old. He did graduate high school and plans to finish his degree at Atlanta Tech. He does work. He does gig work now. He is a disabled veteran. He did serve from 2007 to 2012 in the Army and the Army Reserve thereafter, I believe. He does deny the allegations in this case. I believe that he does have limited financial means at this point. I believe some sort of gig work is his sole income at this time. So we'd ask for that reason to, Your Honor, to consider a signature bond.
All right, so for the simple battery, family violence, it's going to be a $1,500 good bond. For the criminal trespass, a $500 good bond, making a total of a $2,000 good bond. No further contact with Mr. Williams. Stay away from Mr. Williams's address, which was placed in the chat by the solicitor. Abide by any MARTA stayaways, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. All right, good luck to you, Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Position 13, Henriksen.
Okay.
What position do you have?
I've got position, this is position Dane Aaron Hendrickson on my calendar, case 22 CR 006512J is position 12, and he's charged with battery family violence. Good afternoon, Mr. Hendrickson. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Roberts, is there a history?
No criminal history recommended.
Ms. Salat?
Yes, Your Honor. On September 24th, 2022, Atlanta Police Department Officer Sawyers was dispatched to 131 Ponce de Leon Avenue in Atlanta, Georgia, in reference to a dispute in progress. The officer spoke with Mr. Henriksen and the cross-defendant, Mr. Taylor Siegel. They stated that they got into a physical altercation with each other, and they are in a relationship with each other. Mr. Siegel stated that he received a phone call to be picked up by Mr. Hendrickson. And once he picked up Mr. Hendrickson, they began to argue. Mr. Siegel had lacerations on his finger and his left hand, and Mr. Hendrickson had bruises on both hands and his neck. They were both arrested and charged. The state's recommendation is $2,000 surety bond and no contact with the cross-defendant victim, in this case, Mr. Taylor Siegel. That's TAYLORSIEGEL. And I'm not sure which defendant will be able to leave that location, but I would ask that they not be able to both stay at the incident location, 131 Ponce de Leon Avenue. And no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, Your Honor.
Okay, so is Mr. Siegel also in courtroom too?
Yes, he is, Judge.
Okay, so let's take him next, if you all don't mind, since I've already got the facts of this matter. Ms. Roberts, does Mr. Siegel, Taylor Siegel, who on my calendar is position 18, does he have a history?
No, he's also recommended.
Okay, and Ms. Gant, do you represent Mr. Siegel?
No, Your Honor, Mr. Hendrickson.
Okay, and you represent, Mr. Lynch, you represent Mr. Siegel.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so you go ahead, Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Dane Hendrickson is 42 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 3 months. He has been with his partner, Mr. Siegel, for 6 months. That is his family here. Your Honor, we are opposed to any stay away conditions at the incident location. My client has informed me that he would like to continue having contact with Mr. Siegel. Mr. Hendrickson completed high school. He has a bachelor's in music education. He is currently employed at Jameson's Hairdressers. He's been in that position for the past 3 months. He denies the allegations, and Your Honor, there, of course, there is a concern. There is a question of who's the primary aggressor. Of course, my client denies being the primary aggressor. He denies the allegations. He's presumed innocent. Therefore, I am requesting a signature bond as he has recommended. And again, we are opposed to any no contact and stay away provisions. Thank you.
Mr. Lett, on Mr. Siegel, do you have anything that you want to add? Mr. Lynch, not you. I've gone to Ms. Salette first to see if she has anything to add. Then I'll come back to you, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor. The state's recommendation is the same for Mr. Siegel, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, now you, Mr. Lynch.
So, Your Honor, first of all, we are opposed to the stay away order. They are in a relationship. They both want to continue that relationship. Mr. Siegel wants to be a source of support for Mr. Hendrickson. He does deny any wrongdoing in this case. Mr. Siegel is 34 years old. He is a member of the bar in good standing. He does work as a corporate lawyer. He has held such positions as general counsel for Morehouse College. He does not have a significant criminal history of any kind. I believe no arrests, certainly no violent offenses. They do live together in an apartment, and they wish to continue living together. So for that reason, Your Honor, we would ask that you consider a signature bond in this case. I have no doubt that Mr. Siegel would abide by the terms of any no violent contact or anything of that nature. But he expressed to me that him being able to have contact and be a source of support for Mr. Hendrickson is very important to him. And I believe that both parties agree that they wish to have contact and can refrain from anything that looks like violence in the future. So we would ask that you not issue a stay away order from the incident location at this time. I believe that, well, I'll leave it at that for now.
All right, so for Mr. Hendrickson, it's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Mr. Siegel, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Hendrickson. May I see Mr. Siegel next, please?
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome, Ms. Gant. Mr. Siegel, you have been charged in case 22 CR 006515J with battery family violence. We're conducting this hearing by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and did you hear the hearing that we just had with Mr. Hendrickson?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, anything further, Mr. Lynch or Ms. Salette?
Your Honor, well, I'll just go ahead and put the Mr. Henriksen's spelling of his name on the record. The state is going to still ask for no contact with Mr. Dane Henriksen, DaneHenriksen.
All right. So after hearing from all parties in this matter, it's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Mr. Henriksen, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Siegel.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Who do we have next?
Position 20, Roderick Smith.
Okay.
Did I say it correctly? It seems like I'm one up.
Well, he's number 20 on my calendar, so thank you. Let's see. Good afternoon, Mr. Smith. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. You've been charged in case 22-CR-006-489J with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
No history recommended for pretrial.
Ms. King?
This offense occurred on September 25th. The officers were dispatched to 10588 Narrowmore Lane in Johns Creek. Upon arrival, they met with the victim in this case, Brianna Brown, Briana, last name traditional spelling, and they also met with the defendant. They are dating and have resided at that address for approximately 4 years at the time of the incident. The victim states that the defendant got angry after he took her phone and went through some of her text messages. She stated she was in the bathtub at the time of the altercation. He first came in and started splashing water in her face, and then he grabbed her by her legs and tried to pull her out of the tub simultaneously. They began to struggle, and the defendant also bit her on her cheek. The officer was able to see the visible bright impression on her face. The defendant admitted to the altercation, and he also admitted to going through her phone. And he states they were physical, and he also admitted to biting her in the face, Your Honor. He stated that he was struck in the altercation as well, but the officer did not note any injuries on him at that time. We've been in contact with this victim, and she states they live together and share a child. And she states that she does not fear him and is okay with having contact. She also stated that this has never happened before. The victim has stated that she will be leaving the home and staying somewhere else for a while because she does want separation from the defendant. The state is requesting a $3,000 surety in this case, and no further contact and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. The state is still asking for no further contact, even though the victim is saying she's okay with contact because she felt unsafe enough to leave the home, fearing that he may be released. And just the random violence of this attack gravely concerns the state. We're worried about victim intimidation as well as escalation, especially since she reached out for help in this instance. We're concerned that he may do more harm to her in the future. For that reason, the state is asking that you honor our recommendation.
Thank you, Ms. King. I see Ms. Brown on the line. I'm going to give her the opportunity to speak if she wants to after Mr. Lynch's presentation. Go ahead.
Thank you. Excuse me. Mr. Smith is 27 years old. He's from Louisiana, but he has been in the Atlanta area since 2014. He does work as a car dealership reconditioning manager. He's done this type of work for the past 4 years, although his current job, he just started this year. He does not, I believe he's never been arrested for any sort of offense whatsoever. I believe his only record may be speeding or a traffic offense. He, as was mentioned, they do have a 4-year-old child. He does have a 4-year-old child with the alleged victim in this case. And my understanding is that both parties would like to have contact, not only, but specifically for the purpose of co-parenting obligations. So we would ask that it be a no violent or harassing contact rather than no contact. I apologize, I did not get enough information as to the incident location, whose residence that is. But we would ask, Your Honor, in consideration of his lack of criminal history, to grant a signature bond in this case.
Thank you. Ms. Brown, this is your opportunity to address the court if you'd like to do that. And if you would like to do that, you need to raise your right hand for me.
Yes, sir.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Did you hear my question, ma'am? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you can put your hand down.
Yes, I did.
What would you like to tell the court?
I just want to let the court know that I'm not in fear of Roderick at all. And with them saying that I was leaving, I'm leaving just as the state saying that I'm in fear or I may be intimidated is not right at all. Roderick's not a violent person. This is the first offense of him. I just wanted him to have some accountability in it. And that's all. I do want him in my son's life. He's a great father. And that's really all I wanted to say. I need contact with him for our son, for sure.
All right, thank you, Ms. Brown.
Thank you.
It's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, one-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Ms. Brown, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Smith.
Position 16, Ponder.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ponder. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Ponder, you've been charged in case 22 CR 006517B with theft by taking. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
Second, please. Has a total of 18 cycles. Last arrest was July 18th of 2022. Criminal trespass out of Fulton County. That case does appear to be open. I do not have a case number. It does appear to have another open case out of Fulton County for criminal damage to property in the second degree. That case number is 21 CP 203156. He also appears to have an open case. I'm sorry, it's not an open case. He has a conviction for criminal trespass from 2019, one FTA from 2017. A 2011 simple battery conviction, another 2011 simple battery conviction and disorderly conduct conviction, both out of DeKalb County. A 2005 conviction for possession of marijuana less than an ounce, a 2009 conviction for possession of marijuana less than an ounce, and nothing further.
Yes, Your Honor. On September 24th, 2022, Officer Johnson with the Atlanta Police Department noticed a group of males loading plywood into a white Ford van. And the defendant was a part of that group. Mr. Ponder and the other male stated that one of their bosses said that they could remove the plywood from the location, but they were not able to give a name of that person. Additional investigation was done by an investigator, Howard, with the Atlanta Police Department, and determined that Anthony Alamo was the owner of the property where the lumber was taken from. And he stated that he did not give permission to anyone to take lumber from that property. They also spoke with the contractor, Smith, who was helping to renovate that property. And he also stated that he did not give permission for the defendant or anyone else to take that lumber from that property. He was charged with theft by taking, and due to the defendant's criminal history, he has open cases for criminal trespass and criminal damage to property that he's out on bond for now. So he poses a significant risk of committing another crime while out on bond, and these are property charges that he is being arrested for. I think I also heard that he had an FTA arrest in 2017. So he poses a risk of not appearing for court. The state would be asking for a $4,000 surety bond and a stay away from the incident location, which is 226 Delavan Street, Atlanta, Georgia. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
All right, it's gonna be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail, stay away from the Sullivan Street location, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Is that fine with you, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. Ponder.
Position 17, Pruitt. Tomorrow.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pruitt. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Pruitt, you've been charged in case 22 CR 006490B with battery. Is there a history? Ms. Roberts?
Yes. He has 1 cycle out of Georgia and 4 cycles out of Tennessee. The last arrest is November of 2021 for simple battery, family violence, and hindering person making emergency telephone call in Sandy Springs. It is an open case, 21 CR 006211B. His last arrest out of Tennessee was in 2019 for theft of property and burglary. There's no disposition, so I'm not sure if that case is still open. And he had a 2015 theft conviction out of Tennessee and nothing further. Oh, I'm sorry. He also has 6 cycles out of Mississippi. He had a armed robbery conviction from 1995 and a 1992 grand larceny conviction and nothing further.
Thank you, Ms. King.
And to add to pretrial, he also has 4 cycles out of Pennsylvania as well. This offense occurred on September 24th. The victim in this case, Vanessa Wadley, states that she was at the incident location 789 Willow Creek Drive in Sandy Springs, visiting with her boyfriend, who was the defendant. She states that the defendant is addicted to crack cocaine and gets violent with her when he can't get his fix. During that altercation, he struck her in the head multiple times and scratched her on her face. The officers noted observing a long welt on her face. The officers were able to make contact with the defendant eventually because he was seen walking through the complex, which is when they took him into custody. We unfortunately have not been in contact with the victim as of this morning, but the state is still requesting a $4,000 surety in this case. No further contact with Vanessa Wadley. First name's traditional spelling, last name Wadley. A stay away, well, I guess a stay away won't be I'm still going to ask for it. I'm going to request a stay away from that incident location because they were both there and there's a chance they could both be there again. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond, and a 1-day anger awareness class.
Okay. Is this your case, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Derek Pruitt is 56 years old, Your Honor. He moved from Michigan about 2 years ago, so he's been here in Georgia for 2 years. And he does have actually Section 8 voucher for that place. And they broke up. Vanessa Whitley is no longer his girlfriend, and I guess ex-girlfriend became homeless, and so she keeps coming back to this place to reside with Mr. Pruitt. However, Mr. Pruitt does not want her back, so that's why this conflict has arisen to the level of this. My client says that he denies any allegation of hitting her, and it is indeed, he believes that Vanessa Whitley is very bitter, and she wants him to lose that voucher, so she's making a drama to put him to the jail. That's what he believes. We would like to request for a signature on bond. If Your Honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond, at least make sure that he can go back home, because it is his place. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, it's going to be a $2,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Wadley. And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Your Honor, my apologies to interrupt you. I just looked at that other open case and she is the victim in that case as well, Your Honor. For that reason, the state feels the signature bond would be more than inappropriate and are renewing our request for a surety bond in this case.
Well, I'm giving him a surety bond, Ms. King. Right?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, so, and I appreciate that additional information regarding Ms. Wadley. I'm going, based on that information, it's going to be a $4,000 good bond per the state's request. No further contact with Ms. Wadley, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. He certainly can go back to the Willow Creek Lane address if Ms. Wadley is not there, so he can have a one-time law enforcement.
Your Honor. It's my apartment. She has to walk 30 minutes from the bus line to get to my apartment.
Okay,
Not
okay,
her
so
apartment.
Mr. Pruitt, I'm not gonna, you can go back there as long as she's not there, okay?
She can't be there because it's my apartment. She's not on the lease.
Okay,
That's the whole thing. You keep thinking that I'm coming to her. She keeps
No,
coming to my apartment.
that's not what I'm thinking, Mr. I'm just want to make sure that Ms. Wadley is not at the Willow Creek Lane address when I allow you to go back there, okay? So I'm not keeping you from going back there, but the first time you go back there, you're gonna have to go back there with a police escort to make sure that she's not there. If she's not, listen to me, okay? If she's not there, then you're fine. If she is there, then you're not to be there.
How can she be there and she doesn't have a key?
Well, I don't know that. I know that that's what you're telling me, Mr. Pruitt, but
Okay,
okay, so we're done with this. So that's my ruling. So
okay, she came knocking on the door 2 weeks ago and the police had to escort her away. It was a police report on that. So she came back now and all she's trying to get me to do is lose my apartment.
Ms. Kim?
Mr. Pruitt, please stay silent. Thank you.
Okay. Good luck to you, Mr. Pruitt. Who do we have next?
Yes, Judge. Position 14, Mr. Mackey.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mackey. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? Yes. Thank you. Mr. Mackey, you've been charged in case 22 CRI 006487D with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
No history recommended.
Ms. King?
Yes, Your Honor, this offense occurred May 18th of this year. Officers were dispatched to a dispute call at 4064 Sunset Drive Southwest at around 1 p.m. Upon arrival, he met with the victim, in this case, Robert Watson, both traditional spelling. Mr. Watson stated that his nephew, who's the defendant, has been living in his basement and has not paid him rent in 2 months. At that point, the defendant became upset after talking to him about the rent. And so the victim in this case decided to turn off the power to the basement, which led to the defendant assaulting him. The officers were able to document injuries to his hands and his face. And the victim stated that the nephew punched him in his head several times. We've been in contact with this victim, and he did confirm that he is his uncle, and that when he cut off the power, the defendant started to punch him in his face, causing his eye to swell. He said there's been substantial swelling. And he stated that the defendant's father was also at the location and he was spit in the face. And then the defendant's father spit in his face as well. He stated he has not seen the defendant since this incident and wants absolutely no contact with him and for him to stay away from the incident location, which is his residence. With the state is requesting a $3,000 surety in this case, no further contact with Robert Watson, a stay away from the incident location, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond, and a 1-day anger awareness class.
Okay. It's gonna be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Robert Watson, stay away from the Sunset Drive address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Does that suit you, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Mackey.
No, Mr. Maggie, you can call me and I'll explain everything to you. You have a right to remain silent.
Position 13, Lindsay.
Good afternoon, Mr. Lindsay. This is the state court expedite. Good afternoon, sir. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Go ahead. Yes, again.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Mr. Lindsay. You've been charged in case 22 CR 006514Y with theft by shoplifting and willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Is your history, Ms. Roberts?
Give me 1 second. I'm showing 25 cycles, 22 out of Pennsylvania, 3 out of Georgia. Last arrest was June 30th of this year for terroristic threats. 2 counts in criminal trespass. That does appear to be an open case, 22 CP 210270. He does appear to be on probation for entering auto, simple battery against a police officer, and public indecency. 21 SC 179797. The disposition date was March 18th of 2022. 3 years to serve, 5 months with 2 years and 7 months on probation. He has a 2010 conviction out of Pennsylvania for violation of Controlled Substance Act, a 2017 conviction out of Pennsylvania for disorderly conduct, and a 2014 conviction out of Pennsylvania for resisting arrest. And nothing further, Judge.
Thank you. Ms. Select.
Yes, Your Honor. On September 24th, 2022, Officer Howard was dispatched to 595 Piedmont Avenue, Atlanta, Georgia, in reference to a detained shoplifter. This is a Walgreens store. The defendant came into the Walgreens with a black plastic bag and walked out towards the back of the store with items inside of it and his pockets. Officer Howard tried to arrest the defendant and he resisted arrest. He also threatened to spit on Officer Howard and did spit in his direction. He was also refusing to answer any of the officers' questions when they tried to identify him. One moment, Your Honor. Based on the defendant's history, he has open cases, he's on probation, he's continuing to pick up charges. The state would ask for a $3,000 surety bond for each charge, the obstruction charge and the theft by shoplifting charge. The state would argue that he poses a significant risk of committing additional crimes and felonies against others in the community and against property. We'd also ask that he stay away from the incident location, that 595 Piedmont Avenue, Walgreens. Nothing further from the state.
Thank you, Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Rudine Lindsay is 31 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 2 months. He has a child on the way. He states that his fiance is 7 months pregnant, Your Honor. Mr. Lindsay completed high school. He also went on to college. He is unemployed at this time, Your Honor. He states that he's unemployed because he is disabled. He denies the allegations, and I am requesting a signature bond on Mr. Lindsay's behalf. He does not have the means to pay anything toward bond, and if Your Honor determines that he is ineligible, then I would ask for a total bond of no more than $1,000. That would be $750 for the theft and $250 for the willful obstruction. And again, we are unopposed to any stay away and no contact provisions. Thank you.
Okay. You're opposed to a stay away, Ms. Garrett?
We are unopposed to a stay
okay.
away.
All right.
My apologies for misspeaking.
No, I don't know that you did. I might not have heard that right. So I just wanted to make sure. Thank you. It's going to be a $500 good bond for the shoplifting, a $500 good bond for the obstruction, makes for a $1,000 good bond. Stay away from the Walgreens at 595 Piedmont Avenue, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Lindsay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Position 11, Hawkins.
Good afternoon, Mr. Hawkins. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Hawkins, you've been charged in case 22 CR 006483D with driving under the influence of alcohol less safe, improper erratic lane change, and following too closely. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
3 cycles, last arrest 2008, probation violation. Underlying charge was a 2008 furnishing to purchase of or possession by persons below legal age of alcoholic beverages. And he's recommended for pretrial.
Ms. King?
Yes, this offense occurred on September 25th. Officers conducted a traffic stop on the defendant's Mercedes. The officer stated that he observed the vehicle follow another passenger too closely on Abbotts Bridge Road. And then he saw the vehicle fail to maintain its lane, which led to the actual traffic stop. When he made contact with the defendant, he noticed the smell of odor of alcohol coming from the defendant's breath. When he asked him about drinking, he admitted to drinking beer earlier at a bar. And he said that he drank it 2 hours before. At that point, the officers asked him to come out of the vehicle. And he stated when he came out of the vehicle, the smell actually got stronger. At that point, field sobriety tests were conducted. The officers noted 4 out of 6 clues for the HGN, 4 out of 8 for the walk and turn, and 3 out of 4 for the one-leg stance. The officer asked him to submit a PBT, which he declined, and he also read him implied consent, which he declined as well. The officer notes his significant DUI experience, and based on that, he determined the defendant was less safe to drive. The state is requesting an increase to a $4,000 surety. That's the $3,000 on the DUI and $500 for the other charges, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
What's the present bond?
It is $1,530, a very unique amount.
All right, thank you. Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Josiah Hawkins is 34 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area since 1996. He does have family here. Mr. Hawkins completed high school. He also has some college credits. He studied business administration. He is currently employed at Marriott and has been so for 9 months. He denies the allegations. He's presumed innocent, Your Honor. I am requesting a signature bond on Mr. Hawkins' behalf, and if Your Honor determines that he's ineligible, I would ask that Your Honor leave the bond as set. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, so for the DUI, it's going to be a $1,000 good bond. For the erratic lane change, a $250 good bond. Following too close, a $250 good bond. That makes for a total of a $1,500 good bond. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Hawkins.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Position 8, Finley.
Good afternoon, Mr. Finley. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? Thank you, Mr. Finley. You've been charged in case 22 CR 006510G with theft by shoplifting. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
Yes, I'm showing 21 cycles, 8 out of Texas, 1 out of Mississippi, and 12 out of Georgia. His last arrest was October 24th of 2021 for theft by shoplifting. He has a 2021 theft by shoplifting out of Georgia conviction, another 2021 theft by shoplifting conviction out of Georgia, 2018 theft by shoplifting conviction out of Georgia, 2017 theft by shoplifting conviction out of Georgia, 2014 theft by shoplifting conviction out of Georgia, a 2014 driving while license suspended or revoked conviction out of Georgia. He has a 2010 criminal trespass conviction out of Texas, a 2010 theft conviction out of Texas, a 2010 giving false information conviction out of Texas, a 2009 robbery conviction out of Texas, and a 2008 theft conviction out of Texas, and nothing further.
Thank you, Ms. Salette.
Your Honor, on August 29th, 2022, the defendant placed 23 items in his shopping cart and left an Aldi store without paying for them. The address is 6336 Roswell Road in Sandy Springs, Georgia, Fulton County. The items included food, alcohol, soap. An employee asked the defendant if he paid for the items, and he responded yes. When asked for a receipt, he told the employee no and walked out of the store. An officer, Wellingham, received video footage of the incident and photos of the defendant. And Officer Wellingham recognized the defendant as someone he had arrested twice before from other stores in the area for shoplifting. Due to the defendant's history, he has a record of shoplifting. The state is asking for a $1,000 surety bond and a stay away from the incident location. That's 6336 Roswell Road, Sandy Springs, Aldi. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons, Your Honor.
Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. LeBrown Finley is 58 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 3 years. He does not have any family here, and his children are all grown. We are unopposed to the stay away at the incident location. Mr. Finley completed high school. He also has a master's in chemistry. He served in the Marines. He is a disabled veteran, and for that service, he is disabled, Your Honor, service-connected disability. He informs me that he is scheduled for surgery on Thursday of this week. So we are hoping that he will be able to have a signature bond, as he does not have anyone to assist with bond. He denies the allegations, and I do acknowledge my client's history, Your Honor. We are unopposed to the stay away. Again, I am requesting a signature bond. If Your Honor determines that he's ineligible, then I would ask that you leave bond as recommended by the state. Thank you.
Okay, it's gonna be $1,000 good bond, stay away from the Aldi's on Roswell Road, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Finley.
Mr. Finley, please remain silent. The judge has ruled. I'm happy to give you a call with any questions you may have. I apologize, Your Honor. Thank you.
No worries, Ms. Gant. Thank you.
Position 5, Collins.
Your Honor, we'll need a breakout room for this defendant.
Okay, do we want to do the breakout last and finish up with courtroom 2? What would you prefer us to do, courtroom 2? Do you want us to do the breakout now, or would you like to complete the people that you have in there?
That's fine for the breakout because we just have one more after him for courtroom 2.
Okay, that's fine. So let's tell me who's needed in the breakout.
Deputy
I represent Mr. Collins.
and Deputy Falk as well.
Okay. Ms. Lewis, did you get that?
Yes, sir, I'm opening them up now.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I just needed to inquire if the victim in the Bryant Cullens case is present.
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay, if I may ask, I believe it is Miss Lewis. If you could put Miss Cullens and I into the breakout, please.
Okay. Ms. Falk, you'll have to join yourself back in there.
Ah, okay. I didn't know if I could do
Yeah,
that.
you can.
Ah, okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
is being recorded.
Okay, Mr. Collins, I've had, and if you can unmute for me, thank you. I've had a discussion with the solicitor's office and with your counsel. I'm going to give you a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial, meaning that you'll be able to sign yourself out, but there are going to be some conditions. The first condition is that you stay on any prescription medication that you're currently on. So you're going to have to remain on the prescription medication. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. I'm mostly concerned about alcohol. So you cannot have any alcohol while you're out on bond, and you're going to have random alcohol screens to make sure that that you're not violating this order. If you do violate this order, you're going to be right back where you are on a $5,000 bond. No further violent contact with your wife, Ms. Collins. So I'm going to allow you to go back into the household, but no violent contact. And I'm going to have a social worker come visit you to give you, to help you with anything that you might have regarding alcohol or mental health or anything of that nature. Okay?
Your Honor.
You understand? You understand? So, you know, you're going to have to hold up your end of the deal. I'm letting you out so you can go, you know, so you can get out and get back to work on yourself. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Collins. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Were you able to hear everything because the alarm was going off?
Yes, ma'am. Would my wife be able to hear me?
Yes, she can hear you.
Hi, Nick. I love you. I can't wait to be home with you.
All right. You're
All
good.
right. Who do we have next? Good luck to you, Ms. Collins, Mr. Collins.
Position 4, Cohen.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Good afternoon, Mr. Cohen. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is a state court expedited accusation calendar that we're doing by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 22 CR 006507C with willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Is there a history?
First arrest recommended with a parental cosigner.
Okay. Ms. Salette?
Yes, Your Honor. On September 24th, 2022, Officer Stanley was patrolling the area of West Peachtree and Ponce de Leon in Atlanta, Georgia, when he noticed a stolen Camry. He attempted to pull the car over. It had 4 people inside of the vehicle. The driver of the vehicle fled from Officer Stanley and ran through several red lights. The vehicle eventually stopped after being involved in a collision on private property, a single car collision. The officers were not able to tell who the driver of the vehicle was, but the defendant was one of the passengers in the vehicle, and he fled from the vehicle after being told to stop by officers. It's also my understanding that he is a South Carolina resident. Due to him being an out-of-state resident, in order to ensure that he does come back to court, the state would ask for a $3,000 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no contact with the co-defendants, Dasharia Brewer, D-A-S-H-A-R-I-A, Brewer, B-R-E-W-E-R, Eric Mays, E-R-I-C-K-M-A-Y-E-S, and Tremaine Jenkins, T-R-E-M-A-I-N-E-J-E-N-K-I-N-S. The state would also like to note that the defendant here today is 17 and was the oldest out of the co-defendants. Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Camp.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Marzane Cohen is 17 years old. He is in fact a resident of Piedmont, South Carolina, but he does have family in the Atlanta, Georgia area, including aunts and uncles. Mr. Cohen is in high school now. He is in the 12th grade. He enjoys social studies. He states that he's an A student. He aspires to be a real estate agent once he graduates high school. He denies the allegations. I have been in contact with Mr. Cohen's mother, Miss Belinda, and that spelling is Balinda, last name Pickett, common spelling. She is willing to co-sign for her son. She is in South Carolina now, but she states that she will make the trip to Georgia after she gets off work today. It takes about 2 hours in traffic. She informed me that she just moved. She can present a utility bill, but it may not necessarily match her driver's license. Therefore, we are asking for a waiver of the utility bill. I am requesting a signature bond on Mr. Cohen's behalf, Your Honor. He does not have any prior history, Your Honor, and we are unopposed to the no contact orders. Thank you.
Okay. So since I'm not going to send him through pretrial since he's not a resident. It's going to be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. He is to have no contact with the alleged co-defendants, Jenkins, Brewer, and Mays. He is to stay in school. And he is to have a curfew. That curfew, he's got to be in by 9 p.m. and he cannot leave again until 6 a.m. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Cohen.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Judge, we're completed here in courtroom 2.
Okay, very good. I will see you all tomorrow, and I guess we'll go to South Annex. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you, Judge Morrow. Have a good one.
You too.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Afternoon. How you doing today?
Good, sir. Before you is position number 7, Ms. Doss.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Doss. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is a state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Doss, you've been charged in case 22 CR 0065008B with battery. Is there history?
No criminal history recommended.
Okay. Ms. Salette?
Yes, Your Honor. On September 25th, 2022, officers were dispatched to 1306 Harbor Point Parkway, Sandy Springs, Georgia. A neighbor heard someone screaming and called the police, so officers went out to the location. When officers arrived, they noticed that the defendant had blood on her face, but she stated that the blood belonged to the victim in this case, Mr. Darian Buckman. Mr. Buckman stated that the defendant punched him in the face and caused his nose to bleed. The victim also showed officers a video, some video footage of the incident where she can be seen assaulting the victim at that time. Due to the allegations, the state will be asking for a $3,000 surety bond, no contact with the victim, Darian Buckman, stay away from the incident of 1306 Harbor Point Parkway, Sandy Springs, Georgia, no alcohol while out on bond as well, Your Honor. Nothing further from the state, but I do believe that the victim is on the Zoom today.
Okay, I see Mr. Buckman now. I'll give him the opportunity to speak if he wishes to after I hear from Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Shaquila Doss is 29 years old. She has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 9 years. She does not have any family here, Your Honor. We are opposed to the stay away and the no contact orders. She wants to continue having contact with Mr. Buckman. However, we will defer to the court's ruling as as I have not had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Buckman. Ms. Doss completed high school. She also has a bachelor's degree in psychology. She is currently employed at Northside Hospital, and she has been so employed for 3 years. She denies the allegation. She states that the complaining witness pushed her and she was merely defending herself, Your Honor. She does not have any prior criminal history. Therefore, I am requesting a signature bond on Ms. Doss's behalf. And again, we are opposed to the no contact and the stay away orders. Thank you.
Mr. Buckman, if you would like to address the court, I'll need you to raise your right hand for me. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, Your Honor.
You can put your hand down. What would you like to tell the court, Mr. Buckman?
I'd like to tell the court that Ms. Shaquila Doss, she isn't a bad person at all. She actually has a really good heart. I'm not in no fear of her at all. She doesn't have family here, and we do live together. So what I would ask is for a nonviolent contact. And then I will also ask if she can still remain to come to the residence, because that is her only place of residency out here. And again, she has shown initiative of setting up, well, she's been through a lot within these past year with two close family members passing away. So it's a lot of stress on her. And she has taken initiative, and I've seen in her calendar that she has therapy, that she set an appointment to get that help that she needs. So I do ask if you can just have mercy on her for this occasion, because she doesn't have any type of criminal history at all. And thank you for hearing me out.
All right, thank you, Mr. Buckman.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, can I just add one more thing? At the time when we accused this case, we did not know that they lived together, so we will be amending the accusation to battery family violence. We would also ask for a one-day anger management class, if that can be ordered as well. She's out on bond.
Okay. It's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. One-day anger awareness class, no further violent contact. Can we please mute Mr. Hedgepath there? Thank you. I apologize. No further violent contact with Mr. Buckman, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. So I'm going to let you sign your own bond, Ms. Doss, but you'll have to make sure to come back for your next court hearing in the matter, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck to you, Ms. Doss, and you also, Mr. Buckman.
Thank you.
Your Honor.
Your Honor, I don't mean to interrupt. My daughter is the victim. I'm her attorney and father. There was a defendant in courtroom number 2 named Allah Chanain, who was there for a little bit and then left. She'd taken off a lot of work to serve as a witness, and I didn't know what the status of that hearing was.
I have not gotten to position number 2, Allah Chanain, if that's the case that you're referring to, sir.
I had understood he was in courtroom 2, so I'll mute out. Thank you.
Hold on. What, well, courtroom 2 has been released. Where are we with, do we know where we are?
Your Honor, he was scheduled, but he needs an interpreter, and no interpreter is available. So we would ask that he be reset to tomorrow's calendar.
Okay.
Appearance.
All right, so tomorrow is the 27th, so we set for September 27th for the SCA calendar. So Mr. Hedgepath, hopefully we'll have an interpreter here for him tomorrow, and you and is it your daughter?
Yes, sir.
Are welcome to come back at that time.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, have a good afternoon. Okay.
Next, we have position 10, Ms. Fuqua.
Good afternoon, Ms. Fuqua. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You can charge in case 22 CR 006511G with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
Yes, I am showing 5 cycles, 1 out of Texas and 4 out of Georgia, with the last arrest being out of Texas from 2014 for deliberate marijuana and unlawful carrying of a weapon. That was a conviction in 2014. And she has a 2007 conviction out of Georgia for driving while license suspended or revoked, and then a 2006 conviction for possession of marijuana, also out of Georgia, and nothing further.
Okay. Ms. Salette?
Your Honor, on September 22nd, 2022, Officer Philpott with the East Point Police Department was dispatched to a racetrack in East Point at 3505 Camp Creek Way, East Point, Georgia, in reference to the defendant and the victim, her son, Quadrique Dawson Jr. They got into a verbal altercation, and the defendant began punching her son repeatedly and left marks under both of his eyes, and both of his eyes were swollen, according to Officer Philpott. The defendant's son is 16 years old, and the victim's father was on the scene as well, Quadrique Dawson Sr. Due to the allegations at hand, the state would be asking for a $4,000 surety bond and no contact with the victim, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond in a one-day anger management awareness class. I understand that the victim is the defendant's son, but the injuries as they are described do not seem like the acts were in order to discipline the victim. It seemed like they went beyond the scope of that. So that's why the state is asking for no contact with the victim. And due to her history, and like I said, the allegations, the state would be asking for a straight bond, Your Honor, nothing further from the state.
So where does Quadrique live? And I noticed that you did not ask for a stay away.
So it does appear, based on the report, that they do live at the same location, which is 4014 Lake Manor Way, East Point, Georgia, 30344. We have not had any contact with the victim, so I'm not sure what the custody situation is. I don't know if he's able to live with his father or not, but that is the address that was given in the report for both the defendant and the victim.
Do you have any information on this, Ms. Gant?
Yes, Your Honor. The minor child is now with his father. I did have the occasion to speak with his father. He informs me that his son is welcome to stay with him.
Okay.
Regarding Ms. Fuqua, she is 36 years old. She has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 19 years. She is the proud mother of 2 children, ages 16 and 11. She is not receiving any child support, and her elderly mother lives with her. She is 78, and Ms. Fuqua basically takes care of her mother and her 2 children. We are opposed to any stay away orders. That again is Ms. Fuqua's residence, and as I informed the court, Mr. Dawson is comfortable allowing his son to remain in his care until this matter is resolved. My client does want contact with her son, with her child, Your Honor. However, I was unable to make contact with him, so we will defer to the court's ruling regarding the no contact order. Ms. Fuqua completed high school. She also has 2 years of college. She studied computer information systems, and she is currently unemployed at this time. She had been working for Hewlett Packard for 8 years. She actually had to stop working because she was traveling. She had some problems with, I guess, her son being unruly, so she really stopped working to take better care of him to meet his needs. She strongly denies the allegations, Your Honor, and I do acknowledge my client's history. However, it is remote, and I did not hear about any instances of family violence. Therefore, I am requesting a signature bond on Ms. Fuqua's behalf, just primarily because of her financial status. She needs to get back to her children and her mother, Your Honor. And again, we are unopposed to the no contact orders, but we are opposed to any stay away conditions. Thank you.
All right, so it's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, one-day anger awareness. At this point in time, no further contact with Quadrique, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Of course, that can be modified and scanned if Quadrique or Quadrique's father wants contact. All right, good luck to you, Ms. Fuqua.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Next, we have position 11, Ms. Right.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Ms. Grace. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Grace, you've been charged in case 22 CR 0065513C with simple battery against a person who is over 65 or someone who was pregnant at the time of the offense, and simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
7 cycles. Last arrest was for a hit and run from 2020 out of Clayton County. There's no disposition listed, so I'm not sure if that case is still open. I saw a conviction from 2013 for DUI and nothing further recommended for pretrial.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm showing a 2012 battery family violence arrest that was eventually non-pros. Also a 2019 battery family violence that she actually did complete first offender on that case. On September 2022, Officer Cohen's with Atlanta Police Department was dispatched to 3860 Wisteria Lane in reference to an altercation. Officer Cohen spoke with Tonisha King, Tonisha King, who was the victim in the case. She stated that her and the defendant lived together at that Wisteria Lane location, and that the defendant brought home an unknown male, and the unknown male and the defendant were drunk and began being loud and acting aggressive. There were 2 other witnesses at the location, Tabitha Lee and a Noah Joyner. The witnesses and the victim asked the defendant to leave the location because she was acting so aggressive. The defendant stated that she would leave if she was able to get her property. The victim attempted to give the defendant her phone, and at that time, the defendant attacked the victim, Tonisha King, and kicked her in the stomach. Ms. King was 15 weeks pregnant at the time of the incident, and she was transported to Grady due to having pains in her stomach. The state is requesting a $3,500 straight bond on each charge. Due to the defendant's history and the case at hand, the state would argue that the defendant poses a significant risk of committing another crime of violence against another while out on bond. The state would ask that she not be allowed to have alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond, stay away from the incident location, 3860 Wisteria Lane, and no contact with the witnesses Tabitha Lee, Tabithalee, and Noah Joyner, Noahjoyner, and no contact with the victim. Once again, her name is Tonisha King. Nothing further from the state at this time.
Thank you. Mr. Lynch?
Your Honor, I'm not going to necessarily address the facts, but I think it's important to recognize that in this case, this residence, I believe, is a rooming house, and where Ms. Grice pays to live and had just paid to live in that residence. And the alleged victims in this case, I think even it's not disputed, or it was in the recitation of the facts from the state, that they were trying to prevent her from entering a house where she had a lawful right to be, being that that's somewhere she paid to live. She denies adamantly any allegation that she kicked anyone in the stomach. Ms. Grice called the police herself. That's something that wasn't mentioned. And she does not have any convictions that I've heard about for any violent offenses. I mean, I suppose the first offender, she successfully completed the first offender. So I don't know her criminal history, but my understanding is she doesn't have any convictions that haven't been discharged for anything violent. She is 40 years old. She's been in the Atlanta area for over 25 years. She does work at a hospital warehouse where they deal with sorting the linens and everything from hospital. She's been at that job for 3 years. Prior to that, she's worked various restaurants as a cook. She does have a limited income. So, Your Honor, she's presumed innocent at this point. But from my understanding, there's two drastically different versions of what happened at that point where she was trying to gain access to the residence where she paid to live and was being prevented from entering. And so, Your Honor, we would ask the court to grant a signature bond in this case. Although from speaking to Ms. Grice, she doesn't want to go back to that area because she's to that home because she's afraid of what might happen if she did go back there. So she's not necessarily opposed to not going back to the incident location. But we would ask that Your Honor grant a signature bond in this case.
Okay. It's going to be a $2,000 signature bond for each charge through pretrial, which makes it a total of a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial. 1-day anger awareness. Stay away from the Wisteria Lane address. You can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that she might have there. No contact with Ms. King, Ms. Lee, or Ms. Joyner, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. All right, Ms. Grace. All right. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Your Honor, that was a $4,000 signature bond, you said?
Yes, through pretrial, $2,000 for each charge.
Okay. What was, okay.
Okay.
Got you. Thank you. That's it from the South Annex.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow, maybe.
If all goes well.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, they say that if the creek rises, see you tomorrow unless the creek rises, right? But if you got a paddle boat and a life jacket, you're gonna make it.
Unless you have a leaky boat.
That's where the life jacket comes in.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. What happened to position 24, Ricky Williams?
Your Honor. Waiver file on that from Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor.
You did what?
A waiver.
A waiver?
Yes, waiver of appearance was
Okay.
emailed.
And we've received that waiver?
I'm not able to check my email.
Yes,
Who did she send it
yes,
to?
we did. We received it.
Okay. All right. Is there that's Ricky Williams. Is there a history on Mr. Williams?
Yes, he has 39 cycles. Last arrest was July 9th, 2022 for criminal trespass and willful obstruction. He's currently on probation out of Fulton County for public indecency. Disposition date was June 30th of this year, 12 months probation. Also on probation for possession of a controlled substance in Schedule 1 or 2. Disposition date was October 17, 2019. It was 1 year confinement, 2 years probation. Along with that was a possession of cocaine. Had a 2018 possession of cocaine conviction. 2017, 2 counts of disorderly conduct conviction. 2016, willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer and public indecency conviction. Another 2016 public indecency conviction. A 2016 criminal trespass conviction.
Okay, Ms. Roberts, I think I've got it. Thank you. Ms. King?
Yes, Your Honor, and I want to bring to the court's attention the timeline of these convictions. The public indecency that pretrial was referencing, 21 SC 178698, he was released on September 15th of 2021 on that charge. He then did a public indecency on MARTA, which is the incident location for this charge before Your Honor, 22 CR 0040028J. He committed that just 1 month later on October 20th of 2021, and he was released on July 1st of this year. Then the criminal trespass that pretrial reference occurred just 1 week after that, 22 CR 0044429J. So it appears the only breaks in his criminal history is when he's incarcerated. But as soon as he gets out, between a month or two, he's committing another heinous act, Your Honor. The case before Your Honor today occurred on September 26th. The officers noted the defendant was on the rail tracks at the College Park MARTA station in an area that clearly stated do not enter. he was previously issued a permanent ban from MARTA on October 21st, 2021 for that public indecency case. And he was not to return for any reason to any MARTA, and he returned, Your Honor. So while a run-of-the-mill criminal trespass is not alarming, but the fact that he has sexual convictions in his past, one even being on MARTA, gravely concerns the state. For that reason, we're asking for a 5,000 surety in this case, and stay away from all MARTA and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Ricky Williams is 28 years old, Your Honor. And we would like to recommend for maximum $2,000 surety bond. Even $1,000 surety bond, he's not going to be able to pay at all. He has no jobs and he has not had any financial means to pay for anything. And we need to have MARTA suspension. MARTA, stay away from MARTA College Park and just comply with MARTA suspension. That would be sufficient for him. And I already requested social worker services to have a visit for behavioral health evaluation, so that way we can figure out what else we should be doing. Thanks.
Okay, it's gonna be $1,000 good bond, stay away from MARTA, social worker visit, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you.
All right. So I have Ms. Bridgewater in court with me today, and as soon as she is ready, we'll go to the calendar.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is going to be October the 11th. Position number 1 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position number 2 is being rescheduled for tomorrow. Position number 3 is reset further notice with a $2,000 total SOB through the jail. Position 4 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. Position 5 is reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 6, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 7, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. Position 8 is going to the SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. Position 9, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 10, reset further notice with the $4,000 total SOB through pretrial. Position 11 is going to the SAP calendar with a $1,500 total good bond. Position 12, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 13 is going to the SAP calendar with a $1,000 total good bond. Position 14, reset further notice, $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 15, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 16, reset further notice, $2,000 SOB pretrial. Position 17.
That's for the jail.
I'm sorry. I was looking at that and it says through the jail. I apologize. Position 17 is going to the SAP calendar with a $4,000 good bond. Position 18 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 19 reset to the SAP calendar with a $2,000 total good bond. Position 20 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 21 is reset further notice, $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 22 is going to the SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. Position 23, reset further notice, $5,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. And position 24 is going to the, it is a $1,000 good bond and it's going to the SAP calendar. Are there any questions, comments, or otherwise? Okay.
If not, thank you all. I appreciate it. And I'll see you all tomorrow. All right. Have a good evening. Be safe.